Have you ever seen something happen, maybe an argument on the street, someone struggling with heavy bags, or even a minor accident, and you just kept walking? You weren't alone, dozens of other people were there too, and they also did nothing. Does that make you a bad person? Does it make everyone there a bad person? Well, the answer is a lot more complicated and honestly a lot more fascinating than a simple yes or no. Today, we're exploring the psychology of the bystander. Why do we sometimes freeze or simply walk away when we see someone in need? It's a phenomenon that social psychologists have been studying for decades, and it's not about being selfish or uncaring. It's about our brains, our social wiring, and the strange tricks that groups of people play on our individual sense of responsibility. Stick around because by the end of this, you'll understand yourself and the world around you in a whole new way. It all started with a tragic event in 1964. A woman named Kitty Genovese was attacked outside her apartment building in New York City. The attack lasted for over half an hour, and reports at the time claimed that 38 witnesses saw or heard what was happening but did not intervene or call the police until it was too late. While the details of the 38 witnesses have been debated over the years, the story sparked a huge amount of public and scientific interest. People were asking, why did nobody help? This question led to psychologists Bibb and Darley to conduct a series of groundbreaking experiments. What they discovered is what we now call the bystander effect. The bystander effect is a social psychological theory that states individuals are less likely to offer help to a victim when there are other people present. The greater the number of bystanders, the less likely it is that any one of them will help. It seems counterintuitive, right? You'd think more people means more potential helpers, a higher chance of someone stepping in. But human psychology works in mysterious ways. Darley identified a few key psychological processes that lead to this inaction. The first, and perhaps most powerful, is something called diffusion of responsibility. Imagine you're the only person who sees someone collapse on the sidewalk. The responsibility to help is 100% on you. You feel the weight of it. You know if you don't do something, nobody will. Now imagine the same scenario, but you're in a crowded city square. There are 50 other people around. Suddenly, that feeling of personal responsibility gets sliced up and distributed among everyone present. Your brain subconsciously thinks, someone else will probably call for help, or someone more qualified than me should handle this. It's not a conscious, cold-hearted calculation. It's an automatic mental process where the burden of action feels lighter because it's shared. Each person feels less responsible, and the tragic result can be that no one acts at all. The second key factor is the need to behave in correct and socially acceptable ways. This is often called pluralistic ignorance. Humans are social creatures. We look to others for cues on how to act, especially in ambiguous situations. Let's go back to our street scenario. You see someone slumped against a wall. Is that person having a heart attack or are they just sleeping? You're not sure, so what do? You look around, you see other people walking by, glancing over but not stopping. Their inaction signals to you that maybe this isn't an emergency, maybe it's normal, so you keep walking. The irony is every single one of those other people is doing the exact same thing. They're looking at you, seeing you do nothing, and thinking, well, if they're not worried, I shouldn't be either. Everyone is collectively misinterpreting the situation based on everyone else's public inaction, creating a feedback loop of passivity. Everyone is privately concerned but publicly calm, leading the group to define the situation as a non-emergency. The third element is evaluation apprehension. This is basically a fancy term for fear of looking foolish. We worry about what others will think of us if we intervene. What if I rush over to help someone who doesn't actually need help? What if I misread the situation and make a fool of myself? What if I try to perform CPR and do it wrong in front of a crowd? This fear of social judgment can be paralyzing. It can make us hesitate just long enough for the moment to pass, or for someone else to hopefully step in. We're so concerned with the potential for social embarrassment that we fail to act in a moment that truly matters. So we have diffusion of responsibility, pluralistic ignorance, and evaluation apprehension. These three psychological forces create a powerful cocktail of inaction. But it's not just about emergencies. The bystander effect can play out in much more subtle, everyday situations. Think about a meeting at work. Someone makes a suggestion that you know is a bad idea. You look around the room and no one else is speaking up. Diffusion of responsibility kicks in. Someone else will say something. Pluralistic ignorance adds to it. Well, if no one else is objecting, maybe it's not such a bad idea after all. And evaluation apprehension seals the deal. Don't want to be the only one to rock the boat and look like a troublemaker. So you stay silent. This applies to seeing bullying in the schoolyard, witnessing inappropriate comments, or noticing a friend who is struggling with their mental health. The presence of others can make us passive observers in situations where we could be active helpers. Now, this all sounds pretty bleak, doesn't it? Are we all just doomed to be passive bystanders? Absolutely not. The most important thing about understanding the bystander effect is that awareness is the first step to overcoming it. Psychologists have found that people who have learned about the bystander effect are significantly more likely to help in an emergency. Why? Because you can recognize the psychological traps as they are happening. When you feel that diffusion of responsibility creeping in, you can consciously say to yourself, "No, I am not going to assume someone else will handle this. I will take responsibility." So what can you do? The key is to break the cycle of inaction. Be the one to act. If you're in a crowd and see an emergency, you don't have to be a superhero. You can break the diffusion of responsibility by singling people out. Instead of shouting, "Someone call 911," which allows everyone to assume someone else will do it, point directly at a person. "You in the red shirt, call 911 right now." This instantly removes the diffusion of responsibility from that person and gives them a clear, direct task. It assigns the responsibility back to an individual. By taking that first step, you also break the pluralistic ignorance. Your action signals to everyone else that this is in fact a real emergency. It gives them the social permission to also get involved. Others who were hesitating might now feel confident to offer comfort, direct traffic, or assist in other ways. It's also about changing your internal monologue. Instead of focusing on the potential for embarrassment, focus on the potential for regret. Ask yourself, will I regret it if I do nothing? The temporary embarrassment of a false alarm is nothing compared to the long-term guilt of knowing you could have helped and didn't. Remember that helping doesn't always mean putting yourself in harm's way. Helping can be as simple as making a phone call, asking, "Are you okay?" or creating a distraction to de-escalate a tense situation. There are levels and forms of intervention, and even the smallest act can make a huge difference. If you ever find yourself in a situation where you need help, you can use this knowledge to your advantage. Make it clear you need help. Don't be vague. Pick someone out of the crowd, make eye contact and say, "I need your help. Please call an ambulance." By doing this, you turn a passive bystander into an active helper. You've just snapped them out of that psychological haze. The story of humanity isn't just about the times we failed to act. It's also filled with incredible stories of bravery, where ordinary people stepped up in extraordinary moments. The person who pulls someone from a burning car, the stranger who shields another during an attack, the friend who insists on getting help for someone in a mental health crisis. These people aren't fundamentally different from you or me. They just managed to overcome the powerful psychological forces that tell us to stand back and watch. By understanding these forces, we empower ourselves to do the same. So the next time you see something happening, remember what you've learned today, remember the diffusion of responsibility and pluralistic ignorance, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be the one to break the spell. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this interesting, please give this video a like and subscribe. And let me know in the comments, have you ever experienced the bystander effect, either as a bystander or as someone needing help? I'd love to hear your stories. Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one.